Hi there. I want to thank you in advance for your time and listening to this important message about standard versus expedited and some changes that are coming up on April the 1st that will affect the DC apportionment to the ROA. So, why are we making changes? Hopefully, like most decisions that we make as an organization, it's to support growth through customer service. We need more stores choosing standard more often. We need to influence the behavior at the request level. We need to do that because more standard more often means earlier finish times in the distribution centers, and it means earlier delivery times or better customer service for our customers. It also means less expensive cost to distribute. Standard requests get batched with stock requests, and essentially we're able to pick those at a faster rate than we can expedited requests, so it costs less to process a standard request than it does an expedited request. I'm going to get into the details, but I wanted to throw up the key point slide first for those that might not stick around for the details. First of all, stock is better than sold. Stock's better than sold for several reasons. One is that when we pick a stock request, a quarter keg, for example, that goes to a store, the store is able to pick multiple requests throughout the course of a month or more to fill bin stocks and such and orders out of that request. When the min-max isn't set at the store and the store is still filling all those bin stocks and all of those orders, that product is coming in the form of multiple sold requests to the distribution center. So stock request means less overall request. It means less cost per request to the store and the district ROA. In the example that we're using, it's $1.47 per stock request pick. It's the least expensive pick that you could do versus $5.86 for an expedited pick. Probably most importantly is that it puts product closest to the customer, available for same day service, and makes us the most competitive in our industry, being able to be that same day supplier. So stock is better than sold, but when we do sold, standard is better than expedited. One, it helps the DCs finish and deliver earlier. Standard picks get pulled out of the queue in the afternoon and batched to the queue in the next morning. And what that means is we're focused on the priority picks. The queue is not bogged down with picks that are not priority, and the end result is picking gets done earlier. The earlier that picking gets done, the earlier the trucks depart. The earlier our customers can get service. It's less cost per request to the store and the district ROA, and it lowers DC operating costs because it creates efficiencies, as discussed. We need to do less expediting as an organization. It's better for the customer because we get done earlier. It puts less strain on our system and allows us to focus more on providing higher service levels. It's better for the distribution center because it reduces the operating cost at the DC, freeing up resources to improve service, and it helps us get done earlier. And it's better for you at the store and the district level because expediting is the most expensive pick you can do at $5.86 per request in this scenario. So going into place April the 1st are the changes to where standard is going to be introduced as a factor, and I'll get into that. But basically, a stock pick is a one-time factor in terms of the apportionment to the ROA. A standard pick costs you twice as much as a stock pick, and an expedited pick costs you twice as much as a standard pick, or 4 times as much as a stock pick. The status is based on how the store orders, not how the DC processes it, meaning that we choose sometimes to expedite requests, like on a Friday request or auto expedited at all distribution centers. If you order something if you sole request something, you're serviced by Atlanta doesn't have stock, so the request goes to North Carolina. That's always automatically expedited, but you get charged based on how you order it, so you're only charged standard. How's the distribution expense allocation calculated today? So if you export the branch and the district ROA, line number 71 is the DC weighted picks. We currently have 3 types of requests, but only allocate based on sold in stock. Underneath the sold heading, The two subtypes that we have that we don't currently delineate between are standard and expedited. All sold picks are weighted at 4 times the value of a stock pick today. So the formula, how we determine how much distribution expense gets allocated to a store, we take the total stock picks times a factor of 1, plus the total sold picks times a factor of 4, and we take the total DC expense and divide it by that number of requests, and then allocate it out based on who had those requests. This is an actual summary from January of the standard versus expedited report. I added in a stock column that's currently not in the report. Change the names of the district managers to protect the innocent. So our DMs are Andrew and Zachary. You can see that Andrew at 69.2% standard, expedited, is expediting a very high percentage of the sold requests out of that district. That's really high, 69.2%. Zachary, however, is at 46.2%, so that's actually doing better than the average with more standard than expedited requests. So how does that affect the ROA? Well, in the current calculation, here's how it affects it. We're really only factoring in stock and the total sold. There is no standard versus expedited factor currently. So in the month of January, Andrew, who did $2.76 million in sales, was charged $74,000 in DC weighted pick apportionment, which is 2.68% of net sales. Zachary, $2.25 million, $58,000 in weighted picks. That was 2.58% of net sales. So Zachary has a 1/10 of a point advantage over Andrew because Zachary does more stock requests than sold requests, whereas Andrew does more sold requests than stock requests. Every stock request costs $1.18 in this scenario, and every expedited request costs every sold request costs $4.74 in the current. In the new calculation method that's starting April the 1st, we are differentiating between sold and we're looking at standard and expedited. So look at the difference. Same data, same information. The only thing changed was the apportionment calculation. Now look at the advantage. That advantage has gone from 0.1% to over 0.3% for the district. Andrew is being charged 2.78% as a percent of net sales on the DC COGS. Zach is at 2.46%. So a really nice advantage because Zachary's district is leveraging the standard versus expedited. Every stock request in this scenario costs $1.47. Every standard request costs $2.93. And then every expedited request is double that at $5.86. You'll notice that the DC weighted pick, so the total amount of expense that we're allocating to these two districts in both scenarios is the same. One thing that changed is the number of weighted picks, and that number of weighted picks changed because we introduced a 2 times factor. All of these requests were previously getting a 4 times factor applied to them. So there are 90,000 picks to spread out that $132,000 versus 111,000. So the cost per request is not as diluted, so that's why that number is different. But at the end of the day, you can see where Andrew in this scenario is paying $3.63 per pick on average, where Zach's paying $2.71 per pick because Zach's doing more stock requests and doing more standard requests. Here's a slide that we went over earlier. Stock's better than sold. Standard is better than expedited. We need to do less expediting because it's better for our customer, it's better for the distribution center, and it's better for your ROA. The changes go into place starting on April the 1st. If you have any questions, please reach out to your regional operations manager. Thank you for your time. This is an important change. It has the opportunity and the ability to really help us leverage our distribution better than we are today, create a little more operating margin, improve service, and spend a little less money doing it. Thank you.